or speak to it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak! Speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy?
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. 'Tis strange.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe, yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and one dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and with dearth in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone along with this affair. For all, our thanks. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is, Laertes? What wouldst thou have?
Dread, my lord, your leave and favour to return to France.
Have you your mother's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will.
My lord.
But now, my cousin Hamlet, and my child.
A little more than king and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Good Hamlet, cast thy knighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Ay, madam, it is common.
If it be, why it seems so particular with thee?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis faint-hearted grief. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which the dearest father bears his heir, do I impart toward you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our daughter.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it. Oh, fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was. To this Hyperion, to a satyr. So loving to my mother that he may not be teamed the winds of heaven to visit her face too roughly. Heaven, must I remember? Why, she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with mine uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes. She married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets.
Hail to your ladyship.
I'm glad to see you well, Horatio, or I do forget myself.
The same, my lady, and your poor servant ever.
What is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lady, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lady?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
My lady, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lady, the king, your father.
The king, my father.
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And, sister, as the winds give benefits and convoy is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of her favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primary nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more but so.
Think it, no more. Perhaps she loves you now, And now no soil nor coddle doth besmirch the virtue of her will, but you must fear. Her greatness weighed, her will is not her own, for she herself is subject to her birth. She may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for herself, for on her choice depends the health, safety, and health of this whole state. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain if, with too credent ear, you list her songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to her unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot, and the danger of desire.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart.
I stay too long, but here my mother comes.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, aboard, for shame you are stayed for. Oh. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly a habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Never a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and thrift, both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. And this above all else, to thine own self be true, for then it follows as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. There, my blessing with you.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lady.
The time invites you. Go, 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 go. Your servant stand.
Farewell. Ophelia, remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
The air bites shrewdly. What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. Then draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. Look, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. King, Father, Royal Dane, oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly inurned hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again.
It beckons you to go away with it.
Do not go.
No, by no means.
It will not speak. Then I will follow it.
Do not, my lady.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set thee.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lady, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness?
It waves me still. Go on. I will follow thee.
You shall not go, my lady.
Hold off your hands.
Be ruled, you shall not!
Command me! By heaven, I shall make a ghost of any that lets me. I say go away! Go on. I'll follow thee. Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself. Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
If thou didst ever thy dear father love, revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
Was given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is forged, process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, mine uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts won to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with the blood of man that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigour it doth posset and curd like either dropping into milk the thin and wholesome blood. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off, even in the blossoms of my skin, and the house of disappointed unhappy. No reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible. Oh, so horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned insect. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against my mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well. Adieu, Hamlet. Remember me.
Remember thee. I, poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial found records, and thy commandment all alone shall live within the box and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yea, by heaven, oh most pernicious woman, no villain, smiling, damned villain.
Why, how now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Oh, alas, my lady, I've been so frightened.
With what?
My lady, as I was sewing in my chamber, Lady Hamlet, with her doublet all embraced, pale as her shirt, her knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purpose, as if she had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, she comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
Oh, my lady, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said she?
She took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes she to the length of all her arm, and with her other hand thus over her brow, she falls to such perusal of my face as she would draw it. Long stayed she so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice her head thus waving up and down, She raised a sigh so piteous and profound as it did seem to shatter all her bulk and her being. That done, she lets me go. And with her head over her shoulder, turned and seemed to find her way without her eyes. For out of doors she went without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This must be known.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Something have you heard of our Hamlet's transformation? What it should be, more than her father's death, that has thus put her so much from the understanding of herself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both that, being of so young days brought up with her, that you are vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw her on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from your occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts her thus, that opened lies within our remedy.
For the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
We both obey.
I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed daughter.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to her.
Aye, amen.
My good liege, I do think that I have found the cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that I do long to hear.
I doubt it is no other but the main, her father's death and our hasty marriage.
I will be brief. Your noble heir is mad. Mad I call it, for to define true madness, what is it to be but to be nothing but mad?
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That she is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity. Then mad let us grant her then. And now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. I have a daughter, she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark have given me this, gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, say, oh well, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter showed me, and more above. Her solicitings as they fell out by time, by means, and by place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received this love?
To my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lady Hamlet is a royal, out of thy sphere. This must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from this resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, and Hamlet, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, and by this declension into the madness wherein now she raves.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd fain know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know. How may we try it further?
You know sometimes she walks for hours here in the lobby.
So she does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to her. Be you and I behind an arras then, mark the encounter. If she love her not, and she not from her reason foam thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
My honored lady.
My most dear lady.
My excellent good friends, how dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, how do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On Fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lady.
What make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lady, no other occasion.
Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lady?
Why, nothing but to the purpose. Were you sent for? And there is a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lady?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the constancy of our youth, and be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
My lady, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties and form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, no woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lady, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
My good friends, you are welcome to Elsinore. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lady?
I am but mad, northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hog from a hand, so.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us. For we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that she, as 'twere by accident, may hear affront Ophelia. Her mother and myself will so bestow ourselves that, seeing, unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by her as she is behaved, if be the affliction of her love, or no, that thus she suffers for.
I shall obey. But for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. And so shall I hope your virtues will bring her to her wonted way again.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book. That show of such an exercise may color your loveliness. I hear her coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache, the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause.
Good, my lady. How does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well, my
lady, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lady, you know right well you did. There, my lady.
Are you honest?
My lady?
Are you fair?
What means, your ladyship?
That if you be honest and fair, your beauty should admit no discourse to your honesty.
Could beauty, my lady, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now that time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lady. You made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I love you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I myself, indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. We are arrant knaves, all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your mother?
At home, my lady.
Let the doors be shut upon her, and that she may play a fool nowhere but in its own house. Farewell.
Oh, help her, you sweet heavens!
Get thee to a nunnery, go, farewell! Or if thou will needs marry a fool, for the wise know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too, farewell!
Oh, heavenly powers, restore her!
God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. Go to, I'll make no more on it. We will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown.
Love? Her affections do not that way tend, nor what she spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in her soul, o'er which her melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and disclose will be some danger, which to prevent, she shall with speed to England. What think you on't?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of her grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lady Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but let her queen mother entreat her all alone to show her grief. Let her be round with her, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all the conferences. If she find her not, to England send her, or confine her where your wisdom best does think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Good, my lady. Vouchsafe me a word with you. The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
Your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
A wonderful offspring that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any more trade with us?
My lady, you once did love me.
And so I do still, by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lady, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Will you play upon this pipe?
My lady, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lady.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these ventages with your fingers and thumb. Give it a breath with your mouth, and it will discourse a most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me? You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my misery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet you cannot make it speak. Blood, do you think I am easier to play on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, you cannot play upon me.
I like her not, nor stand it safe with us to let this madness reign. Therefore prepare you, and I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and she to England shall along with you.
We will haste us.
My lord, she's going to her mother's closet. Behind the arras I'll convey myself to hear the process. I warrant she'll tax her home. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lady. Oh, my offence is rank and smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, my own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? Oh, wretched state. Oh, bosom black as death. Oh, limed soul that's struggling to be free, I'm more engaged. Help, angels, make a stay. Bow, stubborn knees. All may be well.
Now might I do it. Now he is praying. And so he goes to heaven. Am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up sword, and know thou a more horrid end. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that hath no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, where to it goes.
She will come straight. Look you, lay home to her. Tell her her pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace...
Mother! Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear her coming. Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you answer with a wicked tongue.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can speak.
You will not go till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! 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 Ho!
But ho! Help! Help! Help!
A rat.
Oh! 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 I'm slain.
What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, my lady. 'Twas my word. Leave wringing of your hands, peace, sit down. And let me wring your heart first, so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff. Look here upon this picture, and on this counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars, to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and form. Indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband! Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor?
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more.
A murderer and a villain.
No more.
A king of shreds and
no. Oh.
Save me and hover over me. With your wings, you heavenly guards, what would your gracious figure?
Do not forget. This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits, O set between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, my lady?
Alas, how is it with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him, look! Look how pale he glares. Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all.
Nor did nothing you hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there! Look how he steals away, my father! And his habit, how he lived. Look where he goes, even out the portal!
Oh, God! Oh, this is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
My pulse as yours doth temporally keep time and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness will gamble from. Mother, for the love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespasses, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, will ranks corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rancor.
Oh, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, or throw away the worser part of it and live the pure with the other half. Go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next absence, the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either curb the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. For this same lady, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. One word more, good lady. Let not the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him, for a pair of reachy kisses on paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all the matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know. For who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a padlock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, and despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape to try conclusions, in the basket creep and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
Alack! What noise is this? What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. Young Laertes and a riotous head overbears your offices. The rabble call him Lord. They cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applaud it to the clouds. Laertes shall be king, Laertes king.
The doors are broke.
Ah! Thou vile king! Give me my mother!
Calmly. Good, Laertes.
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlots even here between the chaste unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, of thy rebellion looks so giant-like?
Where is my mother?
Dead.
How come she dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil. I dare damnation! Only I'll be revenged, most thoroughly, for my mother.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your mother's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment pierce as day does to your eye. For she which hath your noble mother slain pursued my life.
If that be so, then tell me why you have proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and so capital in nature.
Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me are strong. The queen, her mother, lives almost by her looks. The other motive why to a public court I might not go is the great love the general gender bear her, who, dipping all her faults in their affection, would, like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert her gyves to grace. So that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed.
So have I a noble mother lost, as a sister driven into desperate terms. But my revenge will come.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you'll not overrule me to a peace?
Oh, to thine own peace. I will work her to exploit, now ripe in my device, under the which she shall not choose but fall. And for her death, no wind shall breathe, but even her mother shall uncharge the practice, and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from her as did that one.
What part is that, my lord?
2 months since, there was a gentleman of Normandy. He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out, "'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you." The scrimmers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you oppose them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with her envy, that she could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming over to play with her.
What out of this, my lord?
Good Laertes, keep close within your chamber. Hamlet soon shall know that you are come home. We'll bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. She, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foil. So that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in pass of practice, requite her for your mother.
I will do it. And for that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataclysm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death that but this is scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall her slightly, it may be death.
When in your motion you are hot and dry, as you make your bouts more violent to that end, and she calls for drink, I'll have prepared her a chalice of nonce, whereon but sipping, if she but chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There is a willow, grows aslant a brook that shows its hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come of crowflowers and nettles, daisies and long purples, that liberal shepherds do give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. And there, on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, at which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, hold the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned?
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
What ceremony else? What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful. And with that great command o'ers weighs the order, she should in ground and sanctified have lodged to the last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her made instruments in the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Layer the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be, when thou liest howling.
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. Oh, I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid. and unto have strewed thy grave.
Ah, treble woe. Fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Now, pile your dust on the quick and the dead, till off this flat a mountain you have made to overtop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus. Devil take that soul!
Thou prayest not while I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat.
Crack them asunder.
Oh, Hamlet! Hamlet!
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers cannot, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, she is mad, Laertes.
Oh, for love of God, forbear her!
Moon, show me what thou do. Wilt thou weep? Wilt thou fight? Wilt thou fast? Wilt thou tear thyself? Wilt thou drink up easel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine? To outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I.
Oh, no, it's this mere madness.
Hear, sir. What is the reason that you used me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, the dog will have his day.
You will lose this wager, my lady.
I do not think so. Since he went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldest not think how ill all's here about my heart, but it is no matter.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now.
Come, Hamlet, come, and take Laertes' hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But pardon, as you are a gentleman, let my disclaiming from my purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts, that I have shot an arrow o'er the house that hurt my brother.
I'm satisfied in nature. I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils. Come on.
Come, one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
You mock me, lady.
Not by this hand.
Give them the foil. Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your grace has laid the odds or the weaker side.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all the length?
Aye, my good lady.
Set me the stoups of wine upon that table. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you the judges bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lady.
1.
No.
Judgment.
A hit. A very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give her the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our Lady forgive.
She's scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortunes, Hamlet.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
Oh, I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
It's too late.
I dare not drink, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit her now.
I do not think it.
Come for the third, Laertes. You but dally. I pray you with your best violence. I am feared you make a wanton of me.
Say you so. Come on. Have at you now. Ah!
Oh no, I'm wounded. How at you now?
I'm struck.
Part them. They are incensed.
Nay, come again.
Look to the queen there, ho!
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lady?
How is it, Laertes?
Why, as a woodcock to my own springe, I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no. The drink. The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy. Oh, let the doors be locked. Treachery. Seek it out.
Here, Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame.
The point in venom too. Then venom to thy work.
Treason! Treason!
I am but hurt.
Hear thou, incestuous, murderous, damned Dane! Drink of this potion! Is thy union there? Follow my mother.
Sir, it is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me. Noble Hamlet, mine and my mother's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy last breath in pain to tell my story.
Now cracks the noble heart. night, sweet princess. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Thank you for coming to tonight's production, performance of Hamlet Now. I'll talk back with the cast follows these credits. This is a production of No Regrets Theater Company and Playhouse 2020. The play was edited and condensed by J.P. Crabb. Hamlet is played by Jannelly Avelaine. Horatio is played by Samantha Ross. Claudius and the Ghost are played by Henry Graham Murray. Gertrude is played by Marcia French. Laertes is played by Deniz Himmetoglu. Ophelia is played by Susannah Dixon. Polonius is played by Paula K. Rosencrantz is played by Frey Bendele. Guildenstern is played by Rose Collins. Marcellus and Osric are played by Molly Jackman. And Bernardo and the Priest are played by me, Dave Sharp. Our technical director is Austin Downs. Our producer is Molly Jackman. And the play is directed by Henry Graham Murray. The audience were played by you. Thank you for your excellent performance. You may contact us at noregretstheatercompany.com and playhouse2020.com.
Okay, so our journey is done. This was our final performance. So we're just going to take some time to kind of reflect on this creative process and the collaborative effort that brought all of these people together. So Henry, I'd love to start with you. You were kind of the mastermind behind all of this. Can you share kind of where that vision came from and how you gathered all of these people together?
I just thought it would be a wonderful thing to do a female Hamlet, and I found a script online at One Act Plays, which was a condensed version of Hamlet. And then I was in a play with the No Regrets Company, who are kind of based out of Radford University in Virginia. And they're doing live performances and all that sort of thing. And I just thought, and such good actors, I acted with you. And I just thought, oh, this would be such a great way to do it. With several live performances, just like a stage run, and with some of the fine actors there, we brought in some other people from around the world, actually around the world. And it's been an absolute pleasure for me to do this, and we've become such a great team. It has been like a stage run, in that we've bonded very much, and it's doing several performances. It's marvelous that we can play with the performances and improve them, and this cast has been incredible for being able to work together. So somebody will come in with another idea and just put it there, and then the other actors will just adapt to that, and the whole thing goes in a different direction, and then that's been happening in different performances. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I would just like to a huge thank you to Jannelly playing Hamlet, who is a wonder of nature, and in my view, the best Hamlet I've ever seen, and certainly the best Hamlet I've ever worked with. And I've had lots of emails and messages from friends who've been seeing the performances, just saying, the best Hamlet I've ever seen. So thank you, Jannelly, so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Jannelly, I'll turn it over to you for a minute. Can you just kind of talk about the process of undertaking a male Shakespeare character and kind of flipping the tables on it there?
Oh man, every time Henry speaks, he just gets me so emotional. I am just so incredibly grateful to be able to play this role and to be a part of this cast, and to experience being an actor, being directed by you, Henry, is such a treat, because I wouldn't be able to reach the depths that I did with Hamlet had it not been for the way in which you allow us the freedom to discover who we are as the character, and we just bring all of that into rehearsal, and you're like, yeah, that's great, keep going. And you allow the flexibility, you allow the discovery. So every time we've been running this, and I think that's a big part of the process, the rehearsal process. Every time we came into a rehearsal, it was as if we were performing it live. It hasn't changed, it's just improved every single time. We all try different things. We all are all adapting to the discoveries that each actor is experiencing. And I think that that's been a real treat. And then playing this powerful role as a female means so much to me, because I feel that it's one of those plays that resonated deeply with me, because it dissects mental and emotional health in the inner struggle, the inner journey. And it made me realize that as females, as actresses, we don't have the opportunity to play roles that are rich in this level of self-exploration. Females are always the object of some males' objection, and
we were kind of joking around in rehearsal that finally we can pass the Bechdel test, right? If you just let a female play a male role, you can move right on from there. And I just wanted to kind of let everybody gauge how rare it is that we were able to gather all of these humans in one place. So can you raise your hand if you're from the East Coast? Okay, and my friends on the West Coast? Yeah, so just so rare that we were able to come and do this together. And Paula, this is not your first time being part of Hamlet. Can you share how this experience has been different?
It's been very different. In 1992, I played Ophelia. That was a long time ago. And about 5 years back, I was in an adaptation that centered on Polonius, and I played Rosencrantz, and that was a lot of fun. So this has been very different. And to have Polonius as a mother rather than the father is a completely different feel, completely changes the relationships with everybody. And I think it changes it for the better.
We'll just work our way down that family line. Deniz, who played Laertes, what was kind of your shift going into this character? How did this adaptation change your perspective?
I got lucky with Laertes because there was, especially in the beginning of the show, there's just so much to hold on to, from Deniz to Laertes. And I said this in the earlier Q&A too, but I think he's just he's such a fool with his first instincts. There is nothing but gut, and he's always driven by whatever comes to mind first. And because of that, he's easily manipulated, and then he's so easily overcome by whatever he's feeling in the moment. Because of that, not very analytical. Henry and I were talking about in one of the rehearsals how the king does a speech to Laertes, sort of lifting him up, flattering him about his skills. And he is all of a sudden, he manages to redirect his anger towards Hamlet. So all of a sudden, Laertes' rage to kill someone is not pointed at the king. So he's receiving all this flattery, and he has this aim to kill someone still. And then in the second speech that follows with the king, he totally contradicts everything you just said 12 seconds ago. And Laertes does not notice at all, and he's not derailed by it at all. He totally just flies right over his head. And I think it's that way throughout. In the beginning, it's so gut, because it's like me when I came to the United States in 2015 from Turkey. A lot of it was about, hey, I'm going abroad. It's going to be cool. And this is what I'm about now, the guy that goes to France. It feels like that kind of vibe feels very familiar. but also he is just the advice that he gives. It's just so nosy and also so foolish.
And we've had quite a few people in the cast playing double roles, double cast, or taking on roles outside of being an actor. So Henry was playing 2 roles as well as directing, and like I said, was kind of the creative mastermind. If there's anything that you'd like to share about that process.
No, I hadn't intended playing the ghost, but it seemed like a neat thing to do, and it was a very interesting experience actually doing that, just to feel those 2 different people. But what I'd most like to say is about you, Susannah, because again, everybody has brought such originality to each of their characters, whether they're a male or whether they're a female playing what is now a female role that was a male, and you came in and with a feisty, rather angry Ophelia, and it changed the whole attitude of the play for me, and and especially for Claudius's character, I realized that he could be really angry, and if he's not really angry, then he's using his anger to manipulate people, so make people afraid of him, and so. It was wonderful that you did that. Would you like to say where that came from?
Yeah, I've been reflecting on this a lot as we've kind of gone through this journey together. And Ophelia, I think previously was kind of seen as an inferior character, surrounded by men who were bossing her around. And so to have a Hamlet that is the same gender as you, to be surrounded by women, to have a doting mother, I became empowered by those around me. And I was able to find that voice and embrace where my character was going. And I'm thankful for the creative decision to allow that to happen.
Wonderful.
And Molly and Sam, you guys are kind of trading off every night if those of you didn't get to see us more than once. And Molly has been doing a ton behind the scenes helping produce this for us. So I just want to make sure that you guys have some time to talk about this and, you know, what this past month of your life has looked like.
Well, it's really interesting when you have to kind of switch your mindset every day and every show, because while you're playing all of these characters, they all have different minds. They all have different ways that they work. And playing it with, like, when you're playing Horatio with a female Hamlet, there's a much different level of friendship there, especially when you talk about like power dynamic and how women are perceived to be weaker. And not only that, but you look at, as we're setting this in a real world, in today's world, you look at also the different things that affect women and the other fears that Horatio can have for Hamlet as a woman, while she is also a woman, which is really interesting. And then also on the other side, you have like Marcellus and Osric, and those are fairly like masculine roles that you get to bring a new light to. So I think it's really cool. Molly?
Yeah, for the last month it's been busy. It's been busy, which I'm grateful for, and I've enjoyed every step of the way. You know, when I was first told that we were going to do Hamlet, that Henry was interested in directing this, I was like, oh, Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. I want to do Shakespeare. And I was really excited to see it on a new format. And with the switching off between Horatio and Marcellus Osric, I think that it's very interesting, the different things that Sam and I think of for these characters, but also the same things, the same conclusions that we come to. And I think that we bring different things to it, but there are some things that are the same. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic between the two of us.
Also on that, it's been really cool to talk with Molly about how we're approaching these characters. Because there were times where me and Molly would Zoom and be like, okay, so here's what I'm thinking for this. What are you thinking? And we would get to like have that conversation to figure out who these characters are with each other, which was really cool.
And sometimes it'd be completely different things. One of us would be like, I was thinking this, and then she'd be like, That's not what that's not the conclusion I came to. But
and it worked out.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Yeah, as soon as we finish kind of round robbing with all of the characters, Jannelly has some great points about kind of the artistic freedom that we were allowed in this process that I'm sure you guys will love to hear about. Henry mentioned that I'm kind of a feisty Ophelia, and those who know me well would say that that's not far off from my real personality. But there was somebody in the cast who was playing somebody very, very different than their day-to-day life. Dave also taking on a few double duties. So take the floor, my friend.
Yes. So I was, Bernardo and the priest, and Bernardo is just the, an average guard. He's kind of just like watching out, and then his friends come and he's more relaxed. But the priest, on the other hand, was he was a horrible priest. He was just this cold priest, not very priest-like at all, if you ask me, completely like non-forgiving and just, she doesn't deserve this, poor Ophelia. And so, as everybody's been saying, they're like, oh, but you're so nice. And so it was very different. So actually before I would do that scene, I'd have to read over my notes and just get into this mindset of you're angry. I had to actually, remind myself, hey, you're not yourself. You're this priest who feels these things that you might not agree with, and just remember that I think that this is all ridiculous because that's what the priest is, which is ridiculous, but that was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Next, we'll go to our resident Shakespeare experts, Rose and Frey. You guys have a really unique perspective because you're sharing a screen right now, and I would just love to hear you guys elaborate on going through this together while the rest of us are, virtually tuning in.
I would say having an acting partner like Ray beside me is a lot easier than some of the Zoom plays that I have done before. It's been really helpful to read over lines together, and I'm always happy to be over here and spend time with them. Not to be like that, but
yeah, and it's just very useful to have a partner to bounce energy off of and to bounce ideas off of and just think things through a little bit more.
Absolutely. Well, we were very lucky to have you guys. Seriously, I can't imagine going through this without you guys. And Miss Marcia, I have enjoyed so thoroughly the perspective and the thought that you've put into all of your character decisions. And obviously your dynamic with Hamlet is so different in this setting. And I know that you have plenty to say about it because I've seen the work that you've put into this production and your character in particular.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's the dynamic between, we talked about this last night, a dynamic between a mother and a daughter is very different than between a mother and a son. And one thing that we have never really talked about, I don't believe, is the fact that my daughter is in love with a woman. And I thought about I know how I feel about that. I'm fine with that. But this is, in that time period. And what people don't realize, a lot of people like to think, oh no, this is just some sort of liberal aberration now. It's like, no, there's always been, gay people, and there has always been such love all the time. And I, in the beginning, when I first read it, had to figure out how to reconcile that, because the king the king doesn't really care about anybody else but the king, So, but when Jannelly presented Hamlet the way that she did, and then you presented yourself the way you did, I just looked at the two of you, and at first I was like, really? Hamlet sent that letter to you? Okay. And then I thought about it, I was like, okay then, I like the idea. And it's just part of we hadn't really talked about, and that's something that happens a lot in these days. We had a conversation after hours once, talking about sort of the fluidity that seems to happen these days with this generation, especially. I mean, I could say it's always been there, but I don't think that it's ever been quite so out in the open and talked about so freely as it is now. But it has always been there, and I was really happy to have it come out in this, so to speak, and to be able to be, to be good with it, and to embrace it and to embrace her. And Jannelly just made it so much fun to do with. We said we just worked off of each other. Sometimes, one of us, or both of us would be bringing in our own sort of attitude or whatever. And however that happens, we all just, kind of take it off on each other and sort of run with it. So it was fabulous. It was really wonderful to do it with all of you. I'm really, really happy to have met all of you and to work with all of you. You're wonderful.
Yeah. I think everybody has said it at some point or another, just what a privilege it was to be a part of this. Mm-hmm. And our technical director, Austin Downs, if you wouldn't mind popping back on if you're still there, just want to make sure that you get the recognition, because streaming, none of us would have ever even begun to do that without you. So thank you so much for volunteering your time and helping us with this project.
Of course, yes. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Okay, well, I will turn it over to our very own Hamlet for some brief closing thoughts. I know, Austin, you're on a tight schedule and we want to honor that. So take it away, girl.
Let me unmute myself. I love hearing all of your experiences, because I feel like I have been such a huge fan of your work. I watch you when I'm not on the screen, and you're just so incredibly talented. I'm just so happy that I got the opportunity to meet you guys, at least virtually, and work with you. But I also think I love what we have created. It wasn't just a play. Like, it's what everybody just mentioned. Marcia just mentioned, we're able to bring stories like this, awareness out. This is the this is the new norm. Just be authentic, be yourselves, experience what you experience. I love the relationship between the mother-daughter, between Ophelia and Hamlet. And I think that, whoever watches this maybe, could be experiencing something and could see themselves related to a classic play. And see themselves in modern times, having these same questions, going through these same realizations. And I am glad that I was able to do that with all of you guys.
Henry, anything from you?
Not that I can think of. It's just that it's been such a pleasure to do, and so we're thinking, what's the next production?
Yes. Guys, put it in the comments. Let us know. What should we pull our minds together and do next?
Yes,
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be Shakespeare.
There it is. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, taking some time to listen to our experiences, and we'll see you next time around.
Bye.
Bye.